Well, there's chickens all over the deck. We don't have any snacks for you guys right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, gentlemen and ladies. Saruman. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have anything. Yes, my gentle birds. Yes, sweethearts. They're doing fine. Most of them are okay today. I'll get to that in a minute because we did have a little bit of a tragedy today. It's nobody's fault. But I'll get to that when we come back out of the barn. But today, the temperatures are mild. The wind settled down. The other day, we had such bad winds that like trees were breaking. But today has been perfectly lovely. Perfectly lovely day. There's a pony scratching his head. Scratch, scratch, scratch. So today has been a perfectly lovely day. We don't get a lot of perfectly lovely days in the fall. So when we do get perfectly lovely days, oh, I don't want to step on Arwen's feet here because Arwen's like right at my feet. Also, turkey. That's a turkey. There's a turkey. Do you have your foot stuck? Do I have to save your butt? Do I have to save your butt? Can you? I do, don't I? Your foot's stuck in there, isn't it? Oh, you got free. He's okay. He's okay. He got out. I was like, I am not relishing climbing up there because I wouldn't like it. Hi, sweetheart. There's one of the ladies. I would not relish climbing up there to get him down. There's a bird netting up there for when we do have the birds locked up. And the bird netting is so that owls can't go in there. Hi, guys. I hear hang on. I'm hearing something. Hang on. Just hang on. I'm listening. There's chicken above me. And there's chicken up there. I'm going to use this to look for eggs. Who is making that sound? Oh, it's a little one. Just ran outside to be back with its mom. That's what I was hearing the sound of a little one. I was like, what the heck? Where's it coming from? And then I found it, and it ran up back outside to be with its mother. So a whole bunch of chickens back here, too. So we have lots of chickens everywhere. I can hear the babies, the little baby chickens, have been split into two groups because there's two mamas. One mama's over there where that little one just ran out. The other mama's in here. I can hear them. So that one mama doesn't want to bring them out of the bush, which is fine. They're fine. There's lots of food, lots of water. They're okay. Anyway, nice chickens. And yes, the chickens are sleeping again in the roof of the barn. That's fine. We don't care. I had someone ask, is that normal? Is that fine? It's fine. Anyway, yes, we're all still sick, but I feel better than I did yesterday. Anyway, tragedy on the farm I mentioned, and then I got distracted by the sounds of the baby chick. It's fine. They made it out. Okay, so the tragedy today is we are down one chicken. Specifically, a rooster. And I know someone's going to say, well, at least it was just a rooster. I know that. But I love every single one of my birds. Okay? Rooster or not, I love them all. So it's actually really sad for me. Bunnies. Actually really sad for me. Hi, guys. Yeah. You guys are nice. So it's actually really sad for me when we lose a bird because I know he's just a rooster. I understand that part. Bunnies. There's 5 in here. 5 girls in here. 1 lady with babies over there. 1 lady with babies over here. Because this lady with babies, her babies are still too small and they will slip out between the other wire. So they have to stand there. Anyway. How you doing there, misters? Everyone good? Yeah. Okay, so we lost a rooster. How did we lose him? It was no one's fault. But you're going to notice as we... Yeah, sorry, Dobby. I'm sorry. The shed's closed. You got no more shed privileges. You'll notice we've closed the shed and we've put a stake through the door so they can't open it. And Dobby's upset about it because Dobby likes being in there. Let me explain what happened. So they were in the shed like they always are. And we have a rule where once something happens, we do whatever we can to prevent it from happening again, like something bad happens. And we just simply do our best not to let it happen ever again. And in this case, what happened was the chickens were mucking about in the shed. And there's like a stack of feed bags, like 5 feed bags stacked on top of each other. And they were fine. They were mostly stable, but chickens being chickens, well, they're idiots. So they knocked the stack over and it landed on the rooster. And I hadn't given him a name yet. That doesn't make him any less precious. It was a white rooster with red markings. Not Rusty. It wasn't Rusty. We still have Rusty. It was the other rooster that looked like Rusty. And I know someone's going to say, well, it was just a rooster. At least it wasn't a hen. I know, and there is that. But he was still alive. He was still valuable to the farm. We liked him. He was a character. He didn't have a name yet because I wasn't sure what name would go with him. So I decided to call him Jeremy posthumously. So Jeremy passed away. And that's sad. It's very sad. We'll miss Jeremy. And I mean, what are you going to do, really? We've prevented it from happening again by not allowing any more access to the shed, by making sure that they can't go in there and do that again, so we don't have another accident. But accidents happen, so no matter how responsible you are, eventually something's going to happen. Okay? Eventually something's going to happen because you're not going to foresee it. Gwen is walking across. Okay, you can't see her now, but Gwen just went walking. You see a black shadow going into those trees? That's Gwen going hunting. Gwen's a bit of a hunter. Okay? She likes hunting. She's a good hunter. So Gwen's going over to the field to hunt, which is good because there's a whack ton of rats in there. So the farmer let me know yesterday because he's done with this field for the fall. And he let me know, he's like, so if your cats want to go in there and clean up some rats, I'm like, well, they will. They're just waiting for you to be done mucking around so they don't get run over. They're back in the field now. Anyway, Jeremy. So we did what we could to prevent it from happening again by locking them out of the shed permanently. They're not allowed in there. But things eventually happen. You know, one thing here, one thing there. It shouldn't be constant. I mean, your hobby farm should not be a constant source of drama. A little bit, sure, right? A little bit of drama is normal. I'm using the camera so I can see the kittens. I can see, because I'm in mirror mode, so I can hold it up here and see. Yeah, you guys are looking pretty good. Let me get a better look. Okay, this isn't going to work one-handed. I've got to put this down for a second. I've got to put this down. Just want to make sure everyone's looking hale and healthy. See, I just want to make sure everyone's looking fed, right? You just want to make sure everyone's looking healthy and fed. So I just want to grab a couple. Oh, sweetie, look at this beautiful little calico. It's a dilute calico. And I can't move the box now. Okay. So Jake pounced in here. Oh well, I'm actually going to leave it because I don't want them up there actually. I'm actually just going to leave it there. Hopefully she doesn't move them. But there are 6 of them. 6 little ones. I think we have 4 boys. No, 4 girls, 2 boys. So they're all doing well. But yeah, your hobby farm should not be a constant source of drama. Shouldn't be always something terrible happening. There shouldn't always be, oh, my cows are sick. Oh, my pigs escaped. Oh, my, and what by escaped, I don't mean just got out and ran around your yard. I mean escaped and like trashed the neighbor's yard. Just because there's difference between them trashing your yard and them causing so much destruction because they went and trashed your neighbor's yard. It's not the same thing. So it shouldn't be constantly dramatic, right? At least not in a bad way. Sure, there's lots of funny things that happen. Like we have, oh, the kittens are coming out over here. Hi, guys. Oh, I'm going to sit down with you guys, okay? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk while you guys are behind me. Hello, Dice. But it shouldn't be a constant source of drama. It shouldn't be. And it isn't for us. Dice. Dice is a good kitten. Right? It's not a source of drama, or it shouldn't be. But sometimes bad things happen. Right? Sometimes. This kitten's back there too. Dice is laying here with me. Yeah. But sometimes things that aren't ideal do happen. And in our case today, we had a rooster pass. And I've currently got chickens trying to get into the shed. No, guys. No. I don't want you in there. That's no longer allowed. So they're no longer allowed in there. But essentially, they're cute. Drama happens on the farm, and sometimes it's not good drama. But if you have bad drama every single day, like one day my cows are sick, and it happens. Like, okay, so your cows get sick. You got 3 or 4 cows and they get sick. They could have any number of things. And okay, it's really serious and you have to put a couple of them down. Okay. Not ideal, but it happens, right? Who among us hasn't had to put down a dog or a cat or a chicken or whatever you have, right? So who among us hasn't had to do that? But if the next day, oh, now my goats are sick. Oh, now my pigs are missing. Oh, now this. Oh, now that. Oh, now, like, if it's constantly like that, then you might not be managing your hobby farm well. But occasionally, no matter how well you manage your hobby farm, something's going to happen. Occasionally, like Jeremy getting squished by feed bag. Complete accident. Didn't foresee it happening. They play in the shed all the time, and nobody ever gets squished. And Jeremy got squished. So you live and you learn and you do better. And now the birds aren't allowed in the shed because we don't want to lose anyone else. And I know he was just a rooster, but he was also a sweetie. And he didn't have a name before he died, but now his name's Jeremy. Kittens. Doing kitten stuff. So just remember on your own hobby farm, having something happen once in a while, it's inevitable. You're raising animals. Even if there's never an accident, even if nobody ever gets sick, even if no one ever does something stupid and needs to be put down, one day they're going to get old. So Arwen, for example, is no longer young. I know goats, as they age, first their teeth, they have teeth on the bottom, not on the top. So first their teeth start to separate, like so they look like they're spaced further apart, and then they start to fall out. And that's normal. That's how goats age. And I noticed that her teeth are different. She's getting old. So at some point, she's not going to be with us anymore. So even if you never have anyone get sick, and you never have anyone get hurt, and you never have anyone run away and not come back, at some point, you're going to lose someone. And you're not going to be happy about it. And that's true even if you process most of your animals for meat. So even if he had been destined to be processed for meat later in the year, it would still be tragic that he died so young, right? It would still be tragic that he died ahead of time. So even if you're raising your animals for meat, see, it's not Rusty. There goes Rusty. That's Rusty running over there. It was the other one. So even if you're going to be using the animal for meat, if it dies young, it's still upsetting. But if it only happens here and there, so not a lot of them, right? Not a lot of them. If it only happens here and there, then you're probably doing something right. Death happens on a hobby farm. You think of how many birds we have. We have, if I had to guess, if I add the quail, we probably have nearing 100. Okay. We probably have nearly 100 birds on the property, which is a perfectly fine number. That's not a lot. Like, I know it doesn't always look like a lot because they're in the bush. But if you add the quail, and to be fair, we have about 30 quail, so we probably only have about 60 to 70 chickens. Well, and we have the ducks. So yeah, probably about 60 chickens, but yeah, 100's about right. So with that many birds, it's actually astounding that we haven't lost more guys this year, because 1 out of 100 birds, like we haven't lost ducks, sold ducks, haven't lost any. We haven't lost our turkey. He just walked it back into the barnyard. We haven't lost a bunch of chickens. So the fact that we've lost basically 1 chicken, and we lost him to getting squashed, not to a predator, not to disease, not to old age. We did lose a couple quails. That's not true that we haven't lost any birds. We lost a couple of quail because they got old. But when you have 100 birds, the idea that you're not going to lose any ever, that's unrealistic. And hi, chickens. Hi, my guys. Hi, sweetheart. You guys are pretty. That's Rusty. And that is Rowena. Yes, named after my son, Rowan. Rusty and Rowena. But, something is eventually going to happen. Eventually, raising animals, especially hobby farm animals, and as many as we do, you're going to have some losses. And this is not our first loss. This is just, the first significant loss this year. But you shouldn't have constant constant drama. And that's why so many of my farm vlogs are just, this funny thing happened today. This funny thing happened, or we all got sick. Like, a lot of our farm vlogs are not, they're just, hey, I'm turning bags into ashes, or I'm cleaning out a shed, or I'm picking potatoes or tomatoes. That's because there shouldn't be a lot of drama, okay? So when you do have drama, is it sad? Sure. I'm sad that Jeremy's gone. But we've now prevented it from happening again. That accident can't happen again because I can't go in the shed. And we'll move on and protect the rest of the flock. Nobody did anything wrong. And we fixed the problem. So if something happens, it may not be your fault at all. Okay? Now, maybe it is. Maybe you knew your goat was sick and you didn't call the vet and then he died. And you knew you should have called the vet and you just put it off too long. Okay. You can accept some blame for that. But if it was legitimately an accident, and anyone who has like goats or horses or chickens will know how accident prone they are. Like horses will, I swear, horses look for a way to make you call the vet. So a lot of times it has nothing to do with you. Okay, it's not always your fault. So when it is not your fault, just move on. Just decide, you know what, I am comfortable with this. I did everything I could. Move on with your life. And even if you are at fault, did you do it on purpose? Or is it just bad judgment? Everyone has bad judgment once in a while. That's okay. So, while maybe your judgment should have been better, you know, live and learn. Not everyone's perfect, okay? But again, you should not have constant drama. If it's constant drama, this cow is sick, now this goat is hurt, now this happened, now that happened, now that, then you might want to look at your farm management practices because it shouldn't be constant. Now, sometimes something big happens, okay? And when something big happens, it can go on for a while. Okay, so if you get a major illness on your farm, let's say you have cattle and you get, let's say you buy a cow and it was a year old and it looks perfectly healthy, and all of a sudden you have yonis, because yonis can flare up around 18 months or older. It doesn't show up young. And yonis is basically a wasting disease. And you've never had yonis on your farm, but you bought this cattle, this cow, this heifer at a nice sale, and you thought it was going to be a good cow. It was going to be a good for breeding, good for milk production. And after a few months, that cow turns out to have yonis. And yonis is spread through feces, and cows poop a lot. So now all your cows could potentially have yonis. And it's a wasting disease. And so sometimes they can live with yonis for a long time. Other times you have to put them down because they're wasting away, and it's not good. So depending on your situation, you may have to do something. There's a fly on my arm that's bugging me. And yonis, then that can be a years-long battle to eliminate yonis from your farm. Okay? So, kittens. That can be a years-long battle. And that's a skeleton, by the way. Someone asked me what was on the deck. That thing sitting in the chair is a skeleton. Not a real skeleton, it's plastic. But Halloween's coming, it's plastic. But, so you might deal with something that's years long like yonis, right? Where now you have to try to eliminate from your farm. This soil is contaminated. You have to lime the soil. You might have to tear down a barn if you need that barn to be exposed. There's a lot to actually eliminating yonis from your farm. And it could be other things. It might not just be, I'm just using yonis as an example because a friend of mine's going through it. It's not necessarily your fault, and it might take years to deal with. So that's not ongoing drama. That's one instance of drama, right? That lasts for years as you try to eliminate it from your farm. And then you can't really sell anything because you have to at least you have to let people know that you do have yonis present on your farm, and there's a chance that any of the animals that you're selling are carrying it, and yeah. So it can be kind of annoying to deal with stuff like that. But that's not constant drama. That's one thing happened, and now you're dealing with it for years. But if your cows have yonis, and your goats have CAE, and your rabbits have RHDV, and your chickens have pick any number of one of the chicken viruses that they get, and if everybody is sick all of the time, look at your farm management practices, because something's up. So you'll notice we never really have anyone sick. Like Shadowfax colicked once. Okay, understand something about horses. They can't throw up. So their answer to my stomach's a little bit upset is, I guess I'll die. So horses are dramatic. So colic is basically a tummy ache that can kill them. And in horses, every tummy ache could potentially kill them. Horses are dramatic. So they're not, I don't know who designed horses. This is not a good design. This is not a good design. It's a terrible design. I love him. They're terribly designed animals. Bad choice. Bad choice. So I'm just picking up my grabber. It's for grabbing eggs when I can't reach them because they're too far away. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. I wanted to mention that we lost Jeremy. We're sad. Even though he was a rooster. I know someone's going to say, he was just a rooster. Also, there's a dead rat on the ground. Cats, right? There's a kitten running hellbells underneath the deck there. But things happen on a farm. They don't happen often here. If they are happening a lot, look at your farm management practices. But if you're going to raise animals, know that you are going to have some losses and you are going to have some injuries. And some of the injuries might be you. My arm is hurt because I slipped and bashed into the barn. It's all bruised up and it happens. Some of the injuries are going to be you. But just know that living on a hobby farm, being responsible for animals, sometimes things happen. You can't do everything about everything. You can't fix everything. You can't prevent everything. But again, it shouldn't be day in, day out. Anyway, that is about it for us today. I am going to go inside. The sun is going down. I will come out one more time. In the dark to make sure all the birds have gone inside, because a whole bunch of them are really liking to sit on the fence at night instead of going in. And I wouldn't normally have a problem with that because the dogs are here. I'm not worried about predators. What I'm worried about is it's going to be 40 below here. In just like 3 months, it's going to be 40 below. End of September. It could be December. It could be usually January, but it could be December. So it could be 40 below here in just 3 months. And that's not fun. And they can't sleep on the fence. They cannot sleep on the fence. They cannot sleep on the fence in 40 below. They will turn into chicken popsicles. We don't want chicken popsicles. So we're starting to have to shove everyone in the building. C'est la vie. We'll see you tomorrow.